Okay, in this video, we're going to teach you about some conditionals in Actionscript and also add in a little bit of extra flair to the end. So what this conditional is going to be is if the player gets a perfect score, they're going to get a perfect ribbon. Very prestigious. And if they get a score of 2, then a good job. Not too bad. So first things first, I got these graphics by vectorizing some bitmaps I found on Google Images. I want you to go ahead, pause the video, and draw some sort of prize that says good, some sort of prize that says great or perfect, and create 2 different symbols down here in your library, a good and a perfect. Okay, so pause the video. Okay, you're done? Good. Let's move on. Let's create a layer to put these ribbons on by clicking on this new layer button in the timeline. Double click on the name. I'm going to call this one ribbons, or you could call yours prizes or something. Drag it down to the bottom layer on the timeline. And you see that it automatically takes it out to frame 55. We need it out to frame 70, and in fact we need these bottom 4 layers out to frame 70. So I'm going to drag down across those layers on frame 70, right click and insert a frame there. And essentially if they do a good job, they're going to go to frame 60. I'm going to insert a keyframe by right clicking on frame 60 and saying insert keyframe, and I'm going to do the same thing on frame 65. If they do a perfect job, they're going to go to frame 65. Okay, so on frame 60 there on the ribbons layer, I'm going to throw my good ribbon. And on frame 65 on the ribbons layer, I'm going to throw my perfect ribbon. And then I'm going to tween them a little bit. I'm going to make this one start small. I'm going to right click and get a keyframe on 64 and enlarge that. And then right click between those two and insert a classic tween. Same thing on frames 65 to 70. I'm going to have 65 small, 70 large, right click, insert keyframe. Oops, right click, insert classic tween. Now I have a couple of animations. They're kind of nice. Okay, so we're going to also need to put a stop on frame 70 because this is where the thing is going to need to stop. So I'm going to click on my code snippets, double click on stop at this frame. Same thing with frame 64. Click on my code snippets, double click stop at this frame. Okay. And now the logical part. So frame 55 is the final frame thus far. It stops at frame 55. So in order for it to go on to frame 60, we need to set up this logic. So I'm going to open up my actions panel while my playhead is on frame 55 and see what I have there so far. If I click on the actions layer, you'll see I don't really have anything. So what I'm going to do is set up what I call and what is called if-then logic. In this case, we're going to say if 45 sum is equal to 3, and then we're going to put some brackets. Then we're going to do a go to frame. Well, it'll be 65. Let's do the good part first. No, let's do the perfect part first. Okay, because the good part is a little bit more complicated. Okay, so if you have a perfect score, which would only be the case if on frame 45 sum, on frame 45, the 45 sum variable is equal to 3, then you're going to go to frame 65. So the function to go to a frame is conveniently right here where we have that button, the play again button. And so we're going to copy and paste there. In this case though, instead of going to frame 1, we're going to go to frame 65. Now remember that play again button is persistent through 55 through 70 at this point. Okay, so let's see if that works. Let's do a command return, and I'm going to get a perfect score on this one. 3, and bam, I get my ribbon. It worked. Okay. So how do I get to go to frame 60, which is just the good job? Not quite as perfect. Well, there's a statement called else if. It goes like that. So else if 45 sum is equal to 2, then some other stuff is going to happen. I'm going to again copy and paste this because I just feel better copying and pasting. And it needs to go to frame 70, is that right? No, 60. Okay, so if 45 sum is 2, then it'll go to frame 60. But wait a second. What if you get the first 2 questions right, but you know, you don't get the last question right? Isn't there in the popularity question section something on frame 50? Yes, there is. So there's a variable called 50 sum that we also need to take into account. So I'm going to copy, select and copy that, and this will be the same thing, and I'm just noticing that I misspelled 45 sum. I left off the word sum, which is vitally important. Okay, now if 50 sum is equal to 2, it'll also go to 60. Let's do a command return and test this out. We'll get this one correct. We'll get this one correct. We'll get this one incorrect. I got my good job. We'll get this one incorrect. This one correct. This one correct. Okay, and I got my good job there too. So everything worked. I have a little animation in there, so it seems really professional. It's a great app. So in the next video, we will learn how to publish it.